All right. So here's a good question. Someone's just like, help me remember about least common multiples. Those can be super confusing. So I've listed 3 little examples here that we'll kind of go through. So your first question with least common multiple is one of the numbers the least common multiple? So, least common multiple, least means the smallest one that these 2 numbers have in common that's a multiple of both numbers. Like if you multiply the numbers, what number is what they have in common. So if one of the numbers itself is the least common multiple, those are the nice ones because it's pretty straightforward and it's like the simplest to figure out. So like 3 and 12. So you would just say, well, does 12 divide by 3? And it does. It divides 4 times. So that means that 12 is the least common multiple, because you can multiply 3 times 4 and get 12, and you can do 12 times 1 and get 12. So it's the smallest number they have in common. Okay. But if we do the next one, 18 divided by 12, we don't get a nice happy whole number, right? This is going to be some fraction or decimal. So 18 is not the least common multiple. If we do 5 and 7, we divide, 7 divided by 5, that does not come out nice and clean to a whole number. So 7's not a multiple of 5. That's not the least common multiple. Okay. So sometimes it works. If they'll divide, then the bigger number is the least common multiple. When it doesn't, then the simplest way to me is just to write out the multiples and look for the smallest number they have in common. So let's write out the multiples for 12 and 18. So 12, you can do this a couple of ways. Whatever's easier for you. I'd grab the calculator and you can do like 12 plus 12 is 24, plus 12 is 36, plus 12 is 48, plus 12 is 60. You can add 12, or you can take it and you can multiply it by 2. 18 times 2 is 36, 18 times 3 is 54, and so on. But we actually should go ahead and stop, because hopefully you see that we have a 36 in common in both of these, right? There's that C common for LCM. And so the least common multiple here is 18. No, it's 36. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. It's 36 because that's what we see in both sets of multiples. And it's the first one we see, meaning it's the smallest. So the least common multiple here is 36. So that's what we're looking for 12 and 18. All right. So we'll do the same process on 5 and 7. And 5s, those are pretty easy to list out, right? You're just counting by 5s. And so pretty straightforward. Okay. For 7, let's see, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. There's a number that ends with a 5. So there is our least common multiple. It's 35. Now, if you're thinking, hey, 7 times 5 is 35. Yes, that is true, right? And if you multiply the numbers, you'll always get a multiple, but it won't necessarily be the least common multiple. It is for 5 and 7, because that's how it works out. But for 12 and 18, it would have been a huge number, right? It would have been this much bigger number. It wouldn't have been 36. That's a smaller number, and it's the least one they have in common. So this process will keep you from automatically just getting the, sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you'll get it wrong if you just multiply the numbers. But if you just list them out, you're just looking at what's the smallest. All right. I hope that's helpful, because this can be a confusing one to, keep straight. See you next time.